Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Astral Card Vault. Let's come straight into the energy today, because this feels delicate already. We have the Page of Cups coming through as the first card, and I want you to look at this card almost like an emotional message that has not been sent yet. Okay, this is soft energy, but it is not shallow. This is someone holding feelings quietly, maybe even awkwardly, because they do not know where those feelings are supposed to go anymore. And with the Page of Cups here, I'm picking up on someone who still has tenderness for you. They may not be showing it. They may not be saying anything, but emotionally, they are not as detached as they appear. Only take what resonates. This may not be everyone's message. For some of you, this person has been silent for a while, not because there is nothing left, but because the silence has become a hiding place. It is almost like they are standing behind the curtain of their own emotions, watching, wondering, replaying. We're going to see why. The first themes coming through are silence, hidden love, regret, and something I keep hearing very clearly, unfinished business. This person feels like things between you are not completely closed. They may not have the language for it yet, but something inside them keeps circling back to you. For some of you, there could be distance here, physical distance, emotional distance, or just that strange distance where two people can still feel each other, but neither one knows how to cross the room. The Page of Cups can carry Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces energy, but it does not have to be their sign. It can also point to someone emotionally sensitive, someone who feels more than they admit. And this is interesting, because I feel they want to approach you, but not with full confidence. More like, would you even want to hear from me? This could be someone you had to set boundaries with, someone who made you feel like you had to protect your heart because they were inconsistent, unavailable, or emotionally young in the way they handled love. But we're not done here, because this page is not just a feeling, it is a message forming. If you know who this is, let me know in the comments. So I want to keep following that message, because it feels like it is trying to move from a quiet feeling into something stronger. Let's see what comes through next. The next card coming through is the Ace of Wands. Okay, this is interesting, because after the Page of Cups, where the feeling is soft, hesitant, almost shy, the Ace of Wands comes in and says there is still a spark here. There is still something alive underneath the silence. This is not just somebody missing you in a casual way. I feel like there is attraction, curiosity, desire, and also this emotional pull that keeps waking back up when they think they have finally put it down. And the thing with the Ace of Wands is that it feels like a message trying to become action. The Page of Cups had the emotion. The Ace of Wands has the urge. So this person may have moments where they want to reach out suddenly, where they almost type something, almost check in, almost make a move. But then timing comes in, and I feel like timing has been a big theme between you and this person. Maybe they felt ready when you were pulling away. Maybe you were open when they were closed. Maybe life, distance, pride, fear, or another situation made this connection feel like it kept missing the right doorway. Only take what resonates. But with hidden love and regret coming through, I feel this person has not been as unaffected as they may have looked. Their silence may have made you feel like they did not care. But underneath that, there is this private fire, a quiet one, something they have not known how to handle. For some of you, this person is afraid that if they come toward you now, you will not receive them the same way. That's what I keep getting. They may be wondering, is it too late? Did I wait too long? Did I hurt them too much? Would they even believe me now? And I feel like there's more under this, because the Ace of Wands can also show that they still feel pulled toward you physically, emotionally, energetically. But I don't want to make this only about passion. No, it feels deeper than that. It feels like passion mixed with regret. The message is forming, but it has not found the courage to leave their mouth yet. And that is why the silence feels so loud. Because part of them wants to start again, part of them wants movement, but another part of them is still standing in the old story, unsure if they are allowed to come closer. So before we move into what they may do, I want to pause on what created the distance. Because if there is this much feeling underneath the silence, something caused them to hold it back. Now we are moving into the King of Swords. Okay, this explains a lot. Because the King of Swords is not someone who does not feel. It is someone who knows how to separate feeling from expression. This is somebody who may have gone very quiet, very logical, very controlled, maybe even cold on the outside, because that felt safer than showing you what was actually going on inside. And I feel like this is where the emotional distance started. For some of you, there was a conversation that did not go the way it should have gone, or there was something that needed to be said honestly, and instead, someone chose silence, distance, or a very guarded response. This may not be everyone's message, but with the King of Swords here, I'm seeing somebody who tried to think their way out of a feeling. They may have told themselves, I need to be mature, I need to be practical, I need to stay in control. But underneath that control, the Page of Cups and the Ace of Wands are still there. So the heart did not disappear. It got hidden behind logic. Only take what resonates. For some of you, this person pulled back when the feelings became too real, not because they felt nothing, but because the connection may have started asking something from them emotionally that they were not ready to give. Actually, no, I want to say this differently. It feels like they knew you deserved more than what they were offering at the time. And instead of stepping up, they may have created distance. They may have acted detached. They may have made it seem like they were unaffected because admitting the truth would have meant admitting they were vulnerable. And this could be someone you had to set boundaries with. Because maybe their silence hurt you. Maybe their words were sharp. Maybe they made you feel like you were asking for too much, when really, you were just asking for emotional honesty. For some of you, there could have been a misunderstanding. Something said too quickly, something left unanswered, a conversation that ended, but emotionally never really closed. And with this King of Swords energy, I feel they regret not speaking softer. They regret not explaining themselves. They regret acting like distance was the answer. But this card also tells me they are watching their words now. They know that if they come back, they cannot come back carelessly. And now that we have seen the guarded energy on their side, I want to bring the focus back to you, because your experience of this connection matters, and the next card feels like it is showing what you were left holding. The Ace of Pentacles is coming through for your side of this. Okay, so this is how you may be seeing this person right now. You may be looking at them as someone who had a real opportunity with you, something that could have grown, something that could have become stable, grounded, honest, maybe even long-term. But for whatever reason, they did not fully hold it. The Ace of Pentacles is interesting here because it is not just about potential. It is about something tangible, something that needed effort, something that needed consistency. And I feel like from your side, you may have felt, I gave this person something real. I showed them something real. Why did they treat it like it could wait? Only take what resonates. For some of you, you see this person as someone who kept the connection in the air too long. Like there was emotion, there was attraction, there was possibility. But when it came time to make something solid, they may have stepped back, or they became hard to read, or they made you feel like you were the only one noticing what this could become. This could be someone you had to set boundaries with. And not because you stopped caring, that is not what I feel here. I feel like you may still feel the connection, but you also learned that your peace matters. You may have had to say to yourself, I cannot keep waiting for someone to realize what they had while I am standing here, holding the whole thing by myself. Yeah, for some of you, there is emotional distance here. For some of you, physical distance. And for some, this feels like no contact distance, where nobody is saying anything, but the energy is still not quiet. But here's where it gets interesting. The Ace of Pentacles also tells me you may still see the seed. You may still feel like there was something valuable here, even if you are disappointed, even if you are guarded, even if part of you does not want to admit how much this affected you. You may see this person as proud, avoidant, emotionally careful, or someone who left too much unsaid. And I feel like that is what hurt. Not just what happened, but what was never explained. Actually, I want to say that again. It is the lack of explanation that stayed with you. Because when someone gives you mixed energy, it makes the heart keep trying to solve the puzzle. So we have your side of the story showing something real, something that could have been built, and maybe something you had to protect yourself around. Now let's look at the other side of the mirror and see how they are seeing you. Now the Ten of Cups is showing how they may be seeing you. Okay, wow. This is how they're seeing you. And I want to be careful with this, because I don't want to make it sound bigger than it is for every single person. Only take what resonates. But the Ten of Cups is not a small card. This is emotional fulfillment. This is the picture someone keeps in the back of their mind when they imagine what peace could have looked like. So this person may see you as someone who brought a sense of softness into their life, a sense of emotional safety like being around you, or even just connecting with you, made something in them feel less guarded. And that is interesting, because with the King of Swords before this may be someone who is usually very controlled, very rational, very careful with what they say. But when it comes to you, there is something that reaches beneath that. The Ten of Cups can carry Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. It does not have to be their sign, but there is a lot of water here, a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling that may have been covered up, but not erased. They may see you as someone they could have had happiness with, or someone they did feel happiness with, even if they did not protect it properly at the time. Actually, I want to say it this way. They compare the feeling. They may not admit this out loud, but they compare the feeling they had with you to other situations, other people, other connections, and something about it does not match. Something about you still stands out. Not because everything was perfect. No. But because there was a sense of belonging here, there was a sense of, this could have been something, and that is what keeps pulling them back into thought. For some of you, this person sees you as someone who had genuine intentions, someone who wanted something real, someone who was not just playing with the energy. And I feel that is part of why they keep circling back. Because now, from a distance, they may be realizing that what you offered them was not easy to find. If you know who this is, let me know in the comments. Because this feels like somebody who may have acted like they were fine walking away, or fine staying silent, but emotionally, they still have this picture of you connected to peace, home, comfort, and possibility. And that makes the silence even more interesting, because if they still see you this way, then the next thing we need to understand is not whether they feel it, it is why they are still standing still. The Seven of Pentacles comes in next, and this explains the pause. Okay, this is why they're holding back. Because the Seven of Pentacles is not fast energy. This is someone standing there, looking at what has happened, looking at what was invested, looking at what they did not do, and wondering if anything can still grow from this. This person is thinking about time. They may be wondering if too much time has passed. They may be wondering if the silence has already said too much. Like, did I wait too long? Did I make them feel like they were not important? Did I lose my chance because I kept standing still? And with this card, I feel like they are not just afraid of rejection. They are afraid of being confronted with the truth of how they handled this. That is a very specific feeling, because the Seven of Pentacles can show someone reviewing their own choices. And I feel like this person knows there was a point where they could have put in more effort. They could have been clearer. They could have given you something more stable. But instead, they may have waited, delayed, watched, or assumed there would always be more time. Only take what resonates. For some of you, there could be distance here. Physical distance, emotional distance, or just time itself becoming the distance. The days became weeks. The weeks became months. And now this person does not know how to step back in without making it obvious that they never really stopped caring. Okay, let's clarify this. Because this does not feel like indifference. This feels like hesitation. They want to approach, but they do not feel safe in their own courage yet. There is ego here. Yes, there is pride here for some of you. But underneath that pride is insecurity. They may be afraid you have grown past them. They may be afraid you are no longer emotionally available. They may be afraid that you look at them now and only see the person who disappointed you. And I feel like that is why they keep pausing. The Seven of Pentacles can carry Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. It does not have to be their sign, but this is very earthy, very slow, very careful. Someone weighing the outcome before they move. Actually, I want to say this differently. They are not just waiting. They are measuring the risk of being honest. Because if they come forward, they cannot hide behind silence anymore. So now we are going beneath the waiting. Because when someone is measuring the risk of honesty, there is usually something they wish they had said sooner. Now we are getting the Three of Swords. Okay. This is why those hidden truth messages feel heavy, because the Three of Swords is not just heartbreak. It is the place where words, silence, timing, and emotion all cut into the same space. For some of you, this person knows they hurt you. They may not have meant to. That does not excuse it. But I feel like they are aware that their silence, their distance, or the way they handled things left pain behind. And the first message I'm getting is, I still feel connected to you. Okay, so even though there has been hurt here, even though there may have been separation, they still feel a thread, and that thread is uncomfortable for them because it reminds them that this was not something they just walked away from cleanly. The next message is, I hide my feelings because I don't know what you want from me. That feels very connected to the Seven of Pentacles. They are watching, waiting, measuring. They may not know if you want an apology, an explanation, space, closure, or nothing at all. And because they do not know what door is open, they keep standing outside all of them. Only take what resonates. This may not be everyone's message. But with the Three of Swords here, there is also this feeling of replaying pain, not just missing the good moments, but going back to the difficult ones, the sharp ones, the moments where something could have been handled differently. And now the message is, I replay our conversations. Yeah. I feel they think about what they said, what they did not say, maybe the last conversation, maybe a text, maybe the way things went quiet. They may replay your tone, your reaction, your disappointment. And for some of you, they replay the moment they realized you were pulling your energy back. The next message is, I wish I had been more honest with you. That one feels very important, because this is not just about missing you. This is about regret. They know there was something they kept hidden, a feeling, a truth, a fear, maybe even a choice they were avoiding. The Three of Swords can carry air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It does not have to be their sign, but this is very mental pain, thoughts that keep returning. And this is where the reading starts to shift. Because the pain is here, yes, but it does not feel like a closed door. It feels like a conversation that never found the right timing. Temperance comes through next, and this is where the message gets deeper. Okay. This is the message that changes the tone, because Temperance is about time, healing, patience, and two energies that never really stop blending into each other. And the message I'm hearing with this is, I feel like things between us are not over. That is the center of this reading. This person may not be saying it. They may not be showing up in a bold way. They may still be trying to act composed, or busy, or unaffected. But underneath that, they feel like there is still something unfinished between you. Not necessarily because everything was perfect. Actually, no, I want to say this clearly. They feel it is unfinished because emotionally, they never fully let you go. Temperance can carry Sagittarius energy. It does not have to be their sign, but this card feels like distance, time, healing, and the slow realization that feelings did not disappear just because nobody spoke about them. For some of you, this person thought time would make this easier. They thought if they stayed quiet long enough, the emotions would settle, the memories would soften, the pull would fade. But it did not happen that way. The silence may have created space, but it also gave them too much room to think. And now the next message is, I am scared you have moved on. Okay, so that is why the energy is careful. That is why they are not rushing in. That is why we had the King of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, and now Temperance. This person is watching the timing. They are wondering if you are still emotionally open, or if your heart has closed the door because of how long they waited. Only take what resonates. This may not be everyone's message, but for many of you, this person still loves you in silence. And I don't mean that in a dramatic way. I mean they still carry feeling for you quietly, privately, in a place they do not let many people see. Love can still exist even when someone has been immature. Love can still exist even when someone has been afraid. Love can still exist even when someone handled the connection poorly. That does not mean you have to ignore what happened. It does not mean you have to chase them. It means the silence was not empty. There was feeling in it. There was regret in it. There was unfinished emotion sitting there the whole time. And Temperance is showing me they are trying to find the right way back into balance. So now we need to see whether this remains something they carry quietly, or whether the energy finally starts moving toward a decision they can no longer avoid. Judgment is coming through now, so the energy begins to shift. Okay, so this is where the energy starts to shift from feeling into decision. Judgment is not quiet forever energy. This is the moment where something that has been buried, delayed, or avoided starts coming back up to the surface. And I feel like for this person, the silence has been sitting on their chest for too long. This can be a card of a wake-up call, a realization, a moment where someone looks at the past and says, I cannot keep pretending this did not matter. Now, does that mean every single person is going to come running in with a huge confession? No. Only take what resonates. This may not be everyone's message. But I do feel there is an energy here of wanting to reopen something, wanting to say something, wanting to test the waters. For some of you, they may not come in immediately with everything they feel. They may start small. A simple message, a reaction, a question, something that looks casual, but underneath it, there is a lot more emotion than they are showing. Because judgment can also be about accountability. And I feel this person knows there is a conversation that cannot be skipped. They may want to apologize. They may want to explain why they held back. They may want to tell you they were scared, confused, overwhelmed, or not ready to be honest with themselves at the time. But I want to clarify their intention. Because not all communication is equal. Some communication is just someone wanting relief from guilt. Some communication is someone wanting access to your energy again. But this feels like someone who is being pushed by their own conscience to face what they avoided. Okay, let's see if this is honest. With judgment here, they may be afraid of how you will respond, especially if you have boundaries now, especially if you have been quiet too. They may not know if you are open, closed, healed, angry, indifferent, or somewhere in between. And that uncertainty is making them careful. But the pull is strong. This card can carry Scorpio energy for me, sometimes also that deep Pluto-like feeling of emotional reckoning. It does not have to be their sign. It is more about the atmosphere, something old asking to be answered. So the action may begin as a message, but the real movement is the conversation behind the message. And before we close, the final card is not just showing what may happen next, it is bringing the focus back to your center, because whatever they do, your peace still matters. And for the final card, we have strength. Okay, this is a very clear final message. Because strength is not about forcing something. It is not about chasing. It is not about pushing someone to speak before they are ready, or proving your worth to someone who already knows what they felt. Strength is quiet power. And I feel like this is your guidance, whatever happens next, whether this person reaches out, whether they confess something, whether they open a difficult conversation. Your energy is being asked to stay centered. Because yes, there is silence here. There is hidden love. There is timing. There is regret. And there is definitely unfinished business in the way this person is holding the connection. But unfinished does not mean you have to reopen the door without discernment. Only take what resonates. For some of you, this can be communication. For some of you, this can be a confession. For some of you, this can be someone finally admitting that they were afraid, that they held back, that they did not know how to handle the intensity of what they felt. But strength is saying, let them come forward honestly. Do not pull the truth out of them. Do not chase the apology. Do not soften your boundaries just because they are finally showing emotion. This person may still love you in silence, but if they want a place in your life, they have to meet you in the open. They have to speak with care. They have to show consistency, not just feeling. Strength can carry Leo energy. It does not have to be their sign, but there is courage here. The courage to face feelings, the courage to have a difficult conversation, and for you, the courage to receive what is said without abandoning yourself. I feel like the likely outcome for many of you is a moment of truth. Maybe not loud, maybe not immediate, but something that brings this connection out of the fog a little bit. Something that helps you understand what was hidden behind the silence. And whether that creates renewal, closure, or a new emotional chapter will depend on what they do with that truth. Because love is not only what someone feels, it is also what someone is willing to honor. So if this person comes toward you, listen to the words, but also watch the energy behind them. Watch whether they are taking accountability. Watch whether they are making space for your feelings too. And if they are not, strength says you already know how to protect your peace. I'm going to leave this reading here. Thank you for being here with Astral Card Vault. Only take what resonates, leave the rest behind, and may whatever is meant for your heart arrive with honesty, clarity, and peace.